Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to part 2 today of Church Hurts. My name is Islam Tarane, for those of you who do not know, and thank you so much for engaging with me in the previous video, which was Church Hurts part 1. If you have not subscribed, if you have not watched that video, I highly suggest that you do, just so that you have a bit of background context to what I am actually going on about. If you do not know what church hurts is, also if you're not familiar with the term or the phrase or whatever, go to my previous video before this one. It will definitely shed some light to you. So getting right into it, you know how we do when we have sit downs and we have chit chats. Definitely grab yourself something to drink, because Sana, I know for me, my throat gets dry, and for that reason I'm having myself a bottle of H2O, because there's nothing that quenches a thirst like water. Okay, so join me.
God started revealing this revelation. I had to upgrade the title. It's gonna be trading faith. It's gonna take you trading where you put your faith. And what we have to do, which is a very scary thing for people, trade it for the presence of what God wants to do.
Church Hurts part 2. I firstly want to say thank you once again for interacting, and you know, when I was recording that vlog, I didn't realize how ongoing this thing still is. You know, there's a lot of people that were in the comment section shedding a bit of light, and opening up about their experiences. And one comment really touched me, whereby this particular queen on the comment section was pretty hurt at some point, and she was sick. I don't mean to put your business out there if you are watching. I'm just drawing reference and strength and inspiration from what you had said, because it is because of that comment that made me honestly want to record part 2 today, because I sat down and I read that comment throughout the day today. It's literally the next day after posting that vlog, where I'm just like, wow, you know, this really still happens, and there are a lot of people who have been hurt. And I think for me, doing part 2 today is for me to say, okay, yes, we've been hurt, you know, and it hurts, it's painful. We didn't want to experience what we experienced. We didn't need to. It wasn't fair, it wasn't nice. It's definitely going to take us some time to heal from it, but moving forward is something that we need to do. We need to move forward from it. We need to heal. And I will honestly be honest with you guys and say, sometimes healing in a place that hurts you is not the best thing to do. This is one advice that my late father gave me. He said, you cannot heal where you were hurt. Just like you cannot grow in a comfort zone, you cannot heal also where you were hurt. And for me, excuse me, as much as I am still in church, of course, I'm fortunate enough to be in a church that has a lot of branches. So when I feel like something has hurt me here, or I feel like I've been continuously being hurt, there's a great amount of introspection that I will do, obviously on my part. However, it is my duty to heal. I cannot put my healing on another person, or I cannot place my healing on the congregation. I cannot place my healing on the elders or the deacons or whatever. It is my responsibility. At the end of the day, I have to come back home and ask myself, what am I doing for myself and my healing and for my spiritual growth, etc. I sit alone a lot, you guys, and I really think about a lot of things that I go through in my life. And I love introspecting, because it makes me understand myself more. It makes me know what I can and what I cannot do, how much I can take and how much I cannot take, and where exactly I need to put in boundaries. And I have come to realize that in as much as I have a history of church hurts, I have a lot of things that I can actually come to you, this channel, and actually talk about. At the end of the day, I have to ask myself, what would it serve to put all of that out there? If it's not going to be helpful to anyone, I'm definitely not going to come here and put it out there. But I will tell you something that I have learned from my church experience. I will tell you this, that it's okay. And this is also drawn from the comments that I read from my previous video, where we were also just excuse me, conversing with this lady in particular. It's okay to recognize and to realize that you have grown or outgrown a certain point of development in your life. To understand, if God this if God has placed you in a place where this is where I've set for you to learn 1 2 3, to grasp 1 2 3, to master 1 2 3, and that is done, and the purpose of you being there is done, it's okay to move on. So just because you have learned there, I think the greatest thing that I struggled with is because whatever happened at that particular church or that particular time put me in a place where I was very much in limbo. I didn't know whether I should stay or go, but also if I go, where to? Where to? How is this situation now controlling me, consuming so much of me and my time and everything else, to a point where I do not know where to from here. But little did I realize that actually, you know what? Perhaps I've served my purpose here. Perhaps the call on my life by God to serve in this particular place, and the purpose for me being there, perhaps it's accomplished. And that's one thing that I think Christians don't grasp. The fact that you have been appointed to be maybe an elder or a woman's leader or a male's leader or a chorister or a worship team leader or whatever, the fact that you were appointed for that office does not mean that you have to be there forever. This is just on a side note. It doesn't mean that it's you and it's only you. The beauty of God and Him appointing and anointing people is that when He raises someone for that specific time and generation and purpose or whatever, He's gonna do the same thing for the next generation. But when you have already made yourself the standard, the goal, and everything, you end up not allowing others to grow and to blossom to the same office that you are in. How are you going to groom and teach, etc.? And this is how church hurt also happens, when we have people that don't want to move out of office and let others go and lead from the back. They always want to lead from the front, but there is only so much that they can do anymore, because that time of them serving has been done. God had set up a time for them, and that's it. And I think in my case, I needed to realize that actually, God, you know what? You are probably directing me elsewhere. And as it stands right now, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know where I will say that I am fully based, because I think God is just directing me somewhere, and I know that the caller of God in my life is now bigger than what I actually think and thought all these years. But over and above everything, you heal first, so that moving on makes sense. If you cannot move on when you haven't healed, because you can easily move from one church to another, but only to find that you're just bitter, you are carrying baggage, and you are just a ticking time bomb, and every little thing in the next place that you go to is bound to trigger you, and that's not right. What is the point? The whole thing, after being hurt by the church or by the members or by whatever, is for you to heal at the end of the day, because those people are just instruments for your growth, for your spiritual growth. And it's not pleasant, it's not nice, but God is simply showing you. I love this process of pruning. When you prune something, it's definitely not nice. And when God is pruning you and trying to take out the best out of you, He will use your familiar space to make it uncomfortable for you, so that you can grow, so that you can develop, and that's so that you can mature. And once you actually realize that everything else that has ever happened to you, has been said about you, has been done to you, will make sense. Because where I am now, having gone through everything that has hurt me in the church, everything that has been said about me, or whatever, has made me who I am today. And today I am grateful, honey. I am grateful. And not everything is perfect, but I've learned to be okay with the reputation and with the perception that others have created and that others see, or that others believe about me. That's their story. It's not my story. Okay, whatever hurt me, it does not define me. It does not, it does not birth my future. It does not, it was only instruments to where I am going to be. And as a Christian, you need to see the bigger picture in everything. You need to be able to see God's hand and God's footsteps with you throughout the process and where God is taking you. It is so painful because people get hurt because maybe they were ill and they were not supported. People get hurt because when there was infidelity in their marriages, they were the talk of the church and nobody actually attended to them. Even the elders did nothing. People get hurt because their children were molested in the church. People get hurt because finances were stolen from the church money. People get hurt because they have been they've been used too much, or they've just been taken for granted. Oh yeah, they've just been taken for granted, and people get hurt because they are not recognized. And that's another part of church hurt that we don't often talk about. How do you not recognize good leadership? How do you not recognize good good stewardship? How do you not recognize people that have been fueling and aiding and assisting in the church, growing, and people that have been planting good seeds in the church, and people that have been making it easy for people to worship in the church? And I don't want to lie, often times than most musicians, people in the worship team are hyped but never really appreciated. We always bring appreciation to those that are always in the forefront in terms of reading the word and preaching the word, etc., etc., etc. But nakhona, with that appreciation comes great responsibility, because as much as you can appreciate someone, some people are not mature enough to see that the glory is not for them or about them, but it's about their gift and about who their gift is about and who the entire thing is about. Certain people have not grasped that, and sometimes even you coming to appreciate them and their gift, and only to find that their reception or that their reaction towards you is very pompous, very arrogant, can hurt you being the one who's come to do a good thing, which is appreciate. And church hurt is just very broad. People get hurt by the little things, by the big things, by little misunderstandings. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to step back and take a look at things and assess them and see, what exactly is this about? Is it worth really me even leaving this, or do I just need to take it in and heal with it and deal with it? I also believe that confronting the very person that hurt you or the very people that hurt you is a good thing. For the longest time, I've avoided talking about how I feel to certain people for the sake of peace. But no, now I will address it. If I don't like it, I will say it right there. If you can call me out in public, I will respond. But the timing to me is very important, because the last thing I want to do is embarrass myself, or better yet, worst case scenario, embarrass you calling me out in public. Because whatever point of response from me, it would either come from a place where I am calm, or I am, aggravated by what you've just said or what you've just done or whatever. But the greatest sense is to always identify that sometimes you are called to move on somewhere, because when you keep getting hurt in one place, um I don't think that God wants us to stay where we are always hurt. Yeah, you understand. But whatever light that you've shed there, and whatever you have done in that space, if it has been, if it has gotten to a point where it is complete, it is done, and God is pleased, God will definitely promote you to a different place where you can now learn something else, where you can now grow and become bigger and better, where you can, be compensated for everything that you might have hurt you or whatever. But again, hear me well. When you move on, you are not leaving the church completely, as in now you're not just gonna go to church, or you're throwing the toys. I'm not gonna go to church anymore. No, no. Fellowship with one another is important. Like I said, I'm fortunate that I am in a church that has different branches. If I don't like this here, I can go somewhere. And I think I speak for a lot of people who come from my church, or who have churches like that. And I think in most cases now, a lot of churches are like that, which is a good thing, because at the end of the day, you are still in a familiar space. It's just that right now, this spot doesn't work. Just like how you'll see me recording in this spot, next minute I'm sitting on there. Whatever serves you at that time, whatever fills you up, whatever makes you see God, stay there. Stay there. And once your peace is too disturbed, try by all means to assess it first. Don't be, quick to decide, but allow for yourself to be in a prayerful mode about it, to ask God, is what what do you want? Guys, I've never been so confused. Like, I got to a point where I was just like, but God, why is my hair starting off like this? Because I feel like so I just had to literally sit with myself and actually say to myself, what are you calling me to do? I said, not just sit in my house and just worship you and just pray and just like just fellowship on my own. What about my friends? I've got friends in church. And that's another thing. When you've built a community, when you've been part of a community, how do you leave when you are not the one who wants to leave, when circumstances are forcing you to leave? But also, how do you stay when your worship is continually disrupted and it just gets so much. It just gets so much. But God, in his fullness and in his greatness, always makes things come together for the good. I may not understand why it happened, how it happened, but I am seeing the bigger picture now. And I do understand that whatever he's calling me for, wherever he's placing me now, it's for my benefit, and it is definitely for the benefit of those that I'll be fellowshipping with. Because when two or more are gathered in one place, God is definitely there. And whatever gift that God has given you, as you move on to where you are choosing to go, should definitely add more value, because you would have graduated from one level of learning, of growing spiritually, to another level, of learning something else. And perhaps we shouldn't even look at a decrease in church membership as a bad thing. Perhaps we should start understanding that, no, it's okay. It's one of those situations where people grow. And and at the end of the day, it's not the books of the church that keep us in the church. It's God who decides for us. It's God who speaks to his person, and directs their paths in the day. So the numbers, whether the church is big or small, that doesn't even matter. In fact, that doesn't even subtract anything from a salvation of a person. But the greater picture is for you and your peace and your relationship with God, your intimacy with God, your knowledge of God, your growth in God, to always be, to always grow, and to always just be firm and grounded on something very, very solid. So I hope that this video heals you. I hope that this video gives you courage. I hope this video puts a bit of uh, perspective in whatever it is that has hurt you and whatever it is that you need to now let go of.